As far as you may know, I'm all dolled up from the waist up, but from the waist down, I'm OD comfortable. And if I stand up, it's really not a pretty sight. Hello again, my beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Zotaku. And if you're new here, welcome to our beautiful family. And be sure to click that beautiful subscribe button so you can be part of this beautiful family over here. And you can see some more beautiful Zotaku content so you can continue to see my beautiful face. And yes, I did just hype myself up with that intro. Remember, people, you are your best hype man. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my first impressions on Netflix's newest show, The Midnight Gospel. And I am also realizing that since starting this channel, I've kind of been giving a lot of recommendations from Netflix shows. Trust me, that's not what I'm only going to be talking about on this channel. But if I'm trying to get my message and my word and my recommendations out to the masses, I gotta start with something that's accessible, that's tangible, that's familiar to you people, you know? So this is for you and your beautiful soul. Please watch till the end. The Midnight Gospel is a beautiful amalgamation of what the fuck energy plus from the beautiful minds of Duncan Trussell, who is a comedian slash podcaster, and Pendleton Ward, who you may know if you are a very avid cartoon watcher. He is the one that created the show Adventure Time. If you're familiar with the Adventure Time, that whole matter of fact, surreal, zany, cartoony humor that he uses in Adventure Time, that is all over the Midnight Gospel. Like from the get-go, you can tell that this was a Pendleton Ward show without even knowing who the creators were. Pendleton Ward, you can tell he brings a lot of the Adventure Time humor with the surrealist and matter of fact and just, wow, you really said that humor from that show. He brings it into this cartoon, and it's really funny to see him branch into the adult entertainment. No, not adult entertainment, adult animation. Yes, that is the correct term. Adult animation spectrum of things with his humor. So you see that he's branching out after Adventure Time finished, which is really, really cool. And you can see that he's bringing in a weirder element by working with Duncan Trussell. Now, he is a podcaster. I am not familiar with podcasts. I don't watch podcasts. That's not a thing that I do. I'm familiar with them. But from what I can understand, podcast is kind of what you do when you're like a white cis male in America when you kind of had nothing else to do. So I don't really watch podcasts. So as a quick synopsis, you have this guy who wears a cool hat named Clancy. He lives in space or some other dimension, and he has this space simulator. The simulator takes him all across different dimensions and planets and whatnot. He goes in, changes his entire appearance, and he travels to different planets. And while he's on those planets, for some strange reason, every planet is on fire, apocalypse, falling apart. Basically, what the fuck? I have no clue why every planet that he goes to is like this, but it makes it very, very interesting to watch. So he goes to these planets, and while he's there, again, while everything's going to shit, he finds someone to just interview. And I'm guessing because Clancy knows it's a simulation and he's not actually present on the planet, he's just like, oh yeah, everything's on fire. Let me find some people to interview for my space cast or podcast, otherwise known as The Midnight Gospel, hence the name of the show. And while he's there, you're talking about so many different things like existentialism, nihilistic things, and discussion, like pretty much ideas of grandeur and like the human psyche and magic and destiny and a whole bunch of like very esoteric topics that you would see in a lot of podcasts. I'm assuming that this guy, Duncan Trussell, because he knows podcasts, he knows what he's talking about. But while Clancy's interviewing all these people, I'm just sitting here like, wow, this is a very, very interesting topic, but bro, everything's going to shit. You gotta run. Like in the first episode, right? In the first episode, Clancy goes to the United States of America, and he finds this short little guy in a suit and sunglasses who's the president, and the president is going through a fucking zombie apocalypse where everything's going to shit. And Clancy's just like, hey, what are your thoughts on legalizing drugs? And what are your thoughts on like the opioid epidemic and things like that? Very real topics that need to be discussed, but in your head you're like, why are you talking about this now while he's standing with a sniper rifle shooting at Walking Dead guys from the roof of the White House. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But while you're watching it, it somehow does. I am not sure what type of LSD or shrooms or whatever thing they were smoking to get this script, but whatever it is, they need more of it because it works. While you're in the show, watching everything fall apart, you're hearing the conversations and the dialogue between Clancy and whoever he's interviewing for that episode. Keep in mind, I've only watched the first 3 episodes, so I don't know if this is just how he does things. These are just based off of my impressions. So I'm gonna finish up the show. It's just not a show that I can binge because my mind just goes to, I can't finish it anymore. Hearing him talk about, oh, when it comes to drugs, the problem is usually not the fact that drugs are inherently bad. It's just about the situation in which the drugs are used. Like, if you're using a drug for treating something like pain, that's good. But then if you're using it as a party drug, that's bad. The problem is not the drug itself, it's the fact that humans can't control themselves. And you're hearing the topic and you're challenging your own views on this, but then you blink and you taking out of the conversation they're having, and you realize, oh, so a lady who's pregnant just lost her husband because the husband's intestines just got ripped out by a zombie. Again, it doesn't make any sense. The conversation that they are seriously having throughout the entire show does not match the scenery of what's going on, and everyone's just calm about it and no one questions it. And I think it is hilarious. The problem that I was having with this show is that I was zoned into what they are talking about and be very, very intrigued, whether it was the first episode they were talking about drug addiction, and another episode they were talking about the history of magic, which was very, very fascinating, but then you're taken out of it for a quick second and you realize what's going on around you. You can't do both at the same time. You cannot focus on what the people in the show are talking about and what's going on around you, because you are going to become very, very, very confused. And I think it's very refreshing. The fact that they are just talking so calmly about this as if nothing's wrong. Meanwhile, everything around them is going to shit and you're just super confused though. Like, wait, why are you throwing cats at this person? Wait, why is this person being turned into meat? Wait, what's going on? Why? What? You know, it's just a very what the fuck show. And I think I think it's entertaining. I think you should try to watch it. Personally, it's the type of show where I have to watch it like bit by bit. I don't think it's bingeable. I think it's hilarious, but it's definitely not bingeable, because if you try to binge all of the information that's being spewed at you and the different topic that they're talking about in just the podcast style alone of the dialogue, and then try to tune into what's going on around, you're gonna give yourself a headache, and I don't wanna see you in pain. I don't wanna see any beautiful people in pain. So I highly recommend taking it piece by piece, but if you feel like you can binge it, sure, who am I? I'm just a person with a camera and nothing to do during quarantine. Really did enjoy this show. I think I want to see what other topics they talk about, because I'm not even watching the show anymore to see what they do. I mean, yeah, I am watching the show to see what they do, but I'm also interested to see what existential debatable topic they're going to talk about next in the podcast. So I guess that's the appeal of podcasts. Maybe I should try watching them. I'm not really sure. If you have a podcast that you like watching, please comment down below and like give me some suggestions, because I'm illiterate when it comes to podcasts, because I don't know what those are. Yeah, so Midnight Gospel on Netflix, highly recommend it. Please don't binge watch it. Stay beautiful, stay gorgeous. If you want to join the Zotaku family and see more of me and discuss other topics that relate to cartoons, anime, Black Girl Magic, all that other stuff, please click the subscribe button, and please give me some recommendations on what you want me to talk about next on this channel. Thank you so much for watching to the end, and I'll see you next time. Bye.